Hi, everyone. In today's video, we're going to be talking about generalized anxiety disorder, and specifically, how can you tell if you have generalized anxiety disorder? Now, generalized anxiety disorder is a common mental health condition that causes excessive worry and anxiety. In fact, it's the most common anxiety disorder in the world, affecting more than 4% of people, or over 300 million people worldwide. So it's very common, but it can be challenging to tell if you have generalized anxiety disorder, especially if you've always been an anxious person. So, how do I know if it's just my anxious temperament or if it's generalized anxiety disorder? But before we get into that, it's important to understand that everyone experiences anxiety from time to time. Anxiety often gets a bad rap as a negative emotion, but it's actually a normal human emotion that serves a very adaptive purpose to keep us safe and motivated. Anxiety is our natural response to danger or stress. It helps us to be alert and prepared to deal with challenges. If I'm walking down a forest path and a bear jumps out at me, my anxiety helps prepare my body to either fight the bear or to run away and get to safety. Now, that's a bit of an extreme example, but anxiety can be helpful in typical day-to-day situations that we experience. So, for example, if I'm about to give a presentation at work, I might feel anxious about that presentation. Now, a reasonable amount of anxiety can help me focus and perform at my best in that situation. So, the key is anxiety is a normal and important part of our existence. But that then raises the question of, how do I know if my healthy anxiety is normal or if it's problematic and has spilled into the realm of generalized anxiety disorder? Well, the first thing to be aware of is, what exactly is generalized anxiety disorder? It's, like I said, it's a mental health condition that's associated with excessive, difficult to control worry about a range of topics like health, finances, relationships, the safety and well-being of people, minor matters such as punctuality or home repairs, and things like broader global issues like climate change and political unrest. It's a wide range of things that people can worry about. So that's a keystone feature of generalized anxiety disorder, this excessive worry and anxiety. And if this worry continues for prolonged periods of time, then the person can experience physical symptoms of anxiety. Things like restlessness or feeling keyed up or on edge, feeling easily fatigued, having difficulty concentrating or experiencing your mind going blank. Feelings of irritability, increased muscle tension, particularly in the shoulders and the neck, and difficulties with sleep, difficulty falling or staying asleep, having a restless or non-restorative sleep. So you might recognize that you have a tendency to worry, you feel anxious more than other people, and you have some of these physical sensations that I've talked about. Well, one of the challenges is that everyone worries from time to time. Everyone experiences anxiety at various points in their life. It's also really common for people to experience some of those physical sensations that I talked about, like difficulties concentrating, muscle tension, sleep problems, those types of things. There's nothing specific about those symptoms that point directly to generalized anxiety disorder. So if you notice that you have some of these symptoms and are wondering, is this a sign of generalized anxiety disorder? What you want to do is to ask yourself a series of questions. And the first question is, do I worry excessively about a variety of things? Now notice there's two parts to that question. The first is, are my worries excessive? Do you find that your worries are sticky, that you have difficulty shifting your mind off of the worry once you start worrying about it? And secondly, are you worrying about a variety of topics? So for example, people can worry excessively about their social relationships, for example. But if that's all they're worrying about, it's probably not generalized anxiety disorder, and it may be more closely connected to something like social anxiety disorder. Now, the next question you want to ask yourself is, do my worries interfere with my day-to-day life? If your worries are so intense that they're interfering with your ability to work, your ability to go to school, your ability to socialize or enjoy things in your life, that might be a sign that you have generalized anxiety disorder. So, for example, if you're constantly worried about your health and avoid going to social events because you're afraid of getting sick, then that's a sign that your worries are probably interfering in your daily life. The next question you want to ask yourself is, have my worries and anxiety been present for a number of months? You see, the worry and generalized anxiety disorder, it's a chronic worry. It's not situational worry in which you're worrying excessively about a current problem that's just arisen recently. Now, that can be the case. You can worry that way, but the worry and generalized anxiety disorder tends to be more long-standing. And for a diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder, this excessive, difficult to control worry and those associated physical symptoms have to be present for at least 6 months. But often, when I'm working with my clients with generalized anxiety disorder, they'll commonly tell me that they've always been a worrier, dating back to as long as they can remember, dating back to their childhood. You may also want to ask yourself, are my worries and anxiety out of proportion to the actual situation that I'm in? In other words, are my worries disproportionate or exaggerated given the situation? You see, people with generalized anxiety disorder often worry about things that are unlikely to happen, or they worry excessively about things that, even if they do happen, wouldn't be that big of a disaster, wouldn't be that catastrophic an event. For example, a student may worry excessively about doing poorly on a small quiz in one of their classes, even though they're doing very well in the class, and even if they failed the quiz, they would still be doing very well in their class. The worry about the quiz is out of proportion to how big of a deal it actually is. And the final question you want to ask yourself is, how do I feel about uncertainty? Do I dislike uncertainty? Uncertainty in my life, uncertainty in the world, more generally. People with generalized anxiety disorder tend to have a great intolerance for uncertainty. In other words, uncertain situations or not knowing exactly what's going on can trigger high levels of anxiety and worry in situations that don't seem to bother other people who are more tolerant of uncertainty. So if you find that you hate uncertainty or try to avoid or eliminate uncertainty in your day-to-day life, that might be a good indicator that you're intolerant of uncertainty and prone to generalized anxiety disorder. So if you answered yes to a lot of these questions, you might be experiencing generalized anxiety disorder. And if so, I want to emphasize that there are effective treatments and practical things that you can do to manage and gain control of your excessive worry, even in the context of generalized anxiety disorder. And I've done a number of videos on the topic of generalized anxiety disorder and worry management. And if you're interested in the ultimate guide for managing generalized anxiety disorder, essentially everything you could ever want to know about managing generalized anxiety disorder and worry, I'd encourage you to check out this video. So that's all for today's video. As always, thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.